Minister, I would be of the same opinion that it really needs to be looked at. There is so many schemes, whether it's from carers allowance. I have so many people now going into appeals, and they want further information. I think there's a far more refusal rate than I've ever seen before. And I would question too, like when you look at it, people who are caring and are looking after people from being in hospital, from being in homes, and yet every time you appeal it, they want further information. Also, it's means tested. It's a huge issue. Of course, the same with ancillary allowance or any of them. And Minister, I'll just give you one case. I'm dealing with a lovely lady at the moment, and she has a child with a disability. She had to give up work to actually, while the child was in school, a few hours to mind the child. She qualifies for nothing because her husband is barely over the limit. I think we need to sit down and, as previous speakers have said, look at certain schemes and see what we can do to help those people that are vulnerable and that are really doing their best to help the system, and yet I feel the system is letting them down. Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you, deputies, and I hear the concerns that you're raising. I know from my own constituency office as well, I had one particular case where a child had been diagnosed from birth with a particular disorder, but the medical evidence didn't stack up, and they didn't get the domiciliary care allowance the disability allowance. They were moving from domiciliary care to disability, and they didn't get it, but they did not provide the information. And I said to them, you'll have to go back to your specialist and get a letter. And they said, I'm not going back, because I'm telling you now, that's it. That should be sufficient. So, unfortunately, doctors differ, as we all know, and I will certainly take on board what you've said, and I'm happy to take a look at it. But I would say, though, can I just say this? Do not withhold information in order to have additional information to submit if you need to appeal. Don't do that. Put all the information in the first day, and sometimes, the medical information isn't sufficient, and they have to go back to get more information. And a lot of the cases are actually are upheld on appeal, and they're granted on appeal. So I would say again to all applicants to submit as much information as possible with your initial claim, and I'd ask all public representatives to do the same. As I said, the department has also worked closely with the advocacy groups, including the DCA Warriors and Carers Ireland, to review and change its application forms. And if you have any ideas you want to give me, I'm happy to take them.
Thanks for that, Minister. We'll move on.